Welcome to our presentation on Agile-vs-Waterfall methodology. Today, we will explore the fundamental differences between these two methodologies, their unique features, and how to choose the right one for your specific needs. In today's session, we will cover the following topics. First, we will take a look at Waterfall methodology. Next, we will look at Agile methodology. Following that, we will look at the detailed comparison. Next is use cases. And finally, we will look at the factors to consider when choosing your solution. Waterfall methodology is a traditional, sequential approach to software development where the project progresses through a series of clearly defined phases, each dependent on the completion of the previous one. It typically follows a linear progression from requirements gathering and system design to implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. This methodology emphasizes thorough planning and documentation upfront, with limited flexibility for changes once development begins. Waterfall methodology is a traditional, sequential approach to software development. It follows a linear progression through predefined phases, with each phase dependent on the completion of the previous one. The hallmark of waterfall methodology is its emphasis on thorough planning and documentation upfront. Before any actual development work begins, extensive requirements gathering and analysis are conducted to define the project scope and objectives. This meticulous planning aims to minimize ambiguity and ensure a clear roadmap for the entire development process. Once the requirements are established, the project moves into the system design phase, where the overall architecture and technical specifications are outlined in detail. This phase sets the foundation for the subsequent stages of development. Implementation. The third phase involves the actual coding and construction of the software according to the design specifications. Development teams work methodically to translate the requirements and design into functional code, adhering strictly to the predetermined plan. Testing follows implementation, wherein the developed software undergoes rigorous testing to identify and rectify any defects or inconsistencies. This phase aims to ensure that the software meets the specified requirements and functions as intended. Deployment marks the transition from development to operational use, where the completed software is installed and made available to end users. This phase involves activities such as system integration, user training, and final preparations for production release. Maintenance represents the ongoing support and upkeep of the software post-deployment. It includes activities such as bug fixes, performance optimization, and feature enhancements to address evolving user needs and technological advancements. Agile methodology is an iterative and incremental approach to software development that emphasizes adaptability, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Unlike the linear progression of waterfall methodology, Agile breaks down the project into small, manageable increments called iterations or sprints. Each sprint involves a cycle of planning, development, testing, and review, with a focus on delivering working software incrementally. Agile encourages flexibility, customer involvement, and responsiveness to changing requirements, enabling teams to deliver value quickly and efficiently. Agile methodology adopts an iterative and incremental approach to software development, focusing on delivering value in small, manageable increments. Unlike the linear progression of waterfall, Agile methodology emphasizes adaptive planning and evolutionary development, allowing for flexibility and responsiveness to changing requirements and customer feedback. The first phase of the Agile methodology is planning, where the project goals, scope, and priorities are defined collaboratively by the development team and stakeholders. This phase involves creating a backlog of features and user stories, which serve as the basis for prioritization and iteration planning. Following planning, the design phase involves translating the requirements and user stories into actionable tasks and technical specifications. Unlike waterfall, Agile design is iterative and evolves continuously throughout the development process, with a focus on delivering working software incrementally. The development phase revolves around the implementation of features and functionalities in short iterations, known as sprints. Each sprint typically lasts for a fixed duration, often ranging from 1 to 4 weeks, during which the development team works collaboratively to deliver a potentially shippable product increment. Testing is integrated throughout the development process in Agile methodology, with each increment subjected to continuous verification and validation. Agile testing focuses not only on identifying defects but also on ensuring that the software meets the desired quality standards and user expectations. Deployment in Agile methodology involves the frequent and incremental release of working software to end users. Unlike Waterfall, where deployment occurs only at the end of the project, Agile enables early and regular delivery of value, allowing for faster feedback and validation from stakeholders. The final phase of the Agile methodology is review, where the development team reflects on the outcomes of the sprint and identifies areas for improvement. This retrospective process promotes continuous learning and adaptation, driving iterative refinement and enhancement of the development process. Now, let's delve into a detailed comparison between the Agile and Waterfall methodologies. Understanding the nuances of each approach can help you make an informed decision for your project. First, let's talk about the development approach. Agile methodology follows an iterative and incremental process, where work is divided into smaller, manageable chunks called sprints. This allows for continuous feedback and adaptation, promoting flexibility and responsiveness to changing requirements. On the other hand, Waterfall methodology takes a sequential and linear approach, with each phase dependent on the completion of the previous one. While this provides clarity and structure, it can be less adaptable to changes once development begins. Next, let's consider flexibility. Agile methodology offers high flexibility, allowing for changes to be incorporated easily throughout the project. This is ideal for projects with evolving requirements or uncertain market conditions. In contrast, Waterfall methodology provides low flexibility, as changes are difficult and costly once the project moves beyond the initial planning phase. When it comes to requirements handling, Agile methodology embraces evolving requirements and adapts to changes seamlessly. This continuous evolution ensures that the final product aligns closely with customer needs. On the contrary, Waterfall methodology relies on defined requirements upfront, making changes challenging and often requiring significant rework. Customer involvement is another crucial aspect. Agile methodology emphasizes continuous collaboration and feedback, keeping customers engaged throughout the project lifecycle. This fosters a sense of ownership and ensures that the final product meets customer expectations. However, in Waterfall methodology, customer involvement tends to be limited after the initial requirements gathering phase, potentially leading to misalignment between the delivered product and customer needs. In terms of project management, Agile methodology promotes self-organizing teams and often employs frameworks like Scrum or Kanban. This decentralized approach empowers teams to make decisions and adapt to changing circumstances efficiently. Conversely, Waterfall methodology typically follows a hierarchical structure with defined roles and phases, providing clear accountability but limiting flexibility. Risk management is another area of contrast. Agile methodology encourages early and continuous identification and mitigation of risks, thanks to its iterative nature. This proactive approach reduces the likelihood of major setbacks during the project. Conversely, Waterfall methodology relies on comprehensive upfront analysis, which may overlook potential risks and limit the ability to make mid-project adjustments. Time and cost management also differ between the two methodologies. Agile methodology allows for continuous planning and re-estimation, enabling teams to adjust priorities and resource allocation as needed. This flexibility helps manage uncertainties and optimize resource utilization. In contrast, Waterfall methodology typically fixes scope, time, and cost at the project outset, which can lead to challenges if requirements change or unforeseen issues arise. Documentation practices vary significantly. Agile methodology emphasizes minimal documentation upfront, prioritizing working software over comprehensive documentation. This streamlined approach reduces overhead and allows teams to focus on delivering value. Conversely, Waterfall methodology requires comprehensive documentation upfront to define the project scope and requirements. While this ensures clarity and traceability, it can be time-consuming and may become outdated as the project progresses. Delivery methods also differ. Agile methodology emphasizes incremental and regular delivery of working software, enabling stakeholders to see tangible progress throughout the project. This frequent feedback loop enhances transparency and customer satisfaction. In contrast, waterfall methodology delivers the final product at the end of the project, potentially delaying feedback and increasing the risk of misalignment with stakeholder expectations. Lastly, let's consider change management. Agile methodology embraces change and provides flexibility to adapt to evolving requirements or market conditions. This agility enables teams to respond quickly to emerging opportunities or challenges. Conversely, waterfall methodology is resistant to change, as changes can introduce delays and cost overruns, especially once development is underway. Let's first look at the use cases for waterfall methodology. Waterfall methodology finds its applicability in various scenarios, particularly in industries characterized by stringent regulations and compliance requirements. Projects in sectors such as healthcare, finance, and government often rely on waterfall methodology to ensure thorough documentation and adherence to regulatory standards. For example, developing software for a medical device or financial system requires meticulous planning and validation to meet industry-specific regulations and standards. Additionally, waterfall methodology is well suited for projects with stable and well-defined requirements. For instance, large-scale infrastructure projects, such as building bridges or constructing highways, typically involve clear specifications and long planning phases, making waterfall methodology an appropriate choice for managing such endeavors. Now let's first look at the use cases for agile methodology. Agile methodology is particularly advantageous in dynamic and uncertain environments, making it a preferred approach for software development in startup companies. Startups often operate in rapidly evolving markets where customer preferences and market demands change frequently. Agile enables startups to quickly adapt to these changes and deliver value to customers iteratively. For example, a startup developing a mobile application may use agile methodology to release new features based on user feedback and market trends, allowing for rapid iteration and improvement. Client projects with uncertain requirements also benefit from agile methodology. In consulting or agency environments, where clients' needs may evolve over time or may not be fully defined initially, agile allows for flexibility and responsiveness to changing client preferences. For instance, a digital marketing agency working with a client to develop an e-commerce platform may use agile methodology to accommodate changes in branding, user interface design, or feature requirements based on ongoing feedback and market analysis. Furthermore, agile methodology is well suited for product development in competitive markets where speed to market and innovation are critical for success. Companies operating in industries such as technology, consumer electronics, or software as a service often leverage agile practices to maintain a competitive edge. For example, a software company developing a new productivity tool may use agile methodology to deliver incremental updates and enhancements, allowing them to quickly respond to competitor offerings and evolving customer needs. When selecting between agile and waterfall methodologies for a project, several factors must be taken into account to ensure the approach aligns with the project's unique requirements and constraints. Here are some key considerations. First is project requirements. The nature of the project requirements, whether they are stable and well-defined or subject to change and uncertainty, will influence the suitability of agile or waterfall methodology. Projects with evolving requirements may benefit from the adaptability of agile, while projects with clear and static requirements may be better suited for waterfall. Next is project size and complexity. The scale and complexity of the project can impact the choice of methodology. Large, complex projects may require the comprehensive planning and documentation provided by waterfall methodology, while smaller, less complex projects may benefit from the flexibility and iterative nature of agile. Next factor is customer involvement. The level of customer involvement and collaboration throughout the project lifecycle is crucial. Agile methodology emphasizes continuous customer engagement and feedback, making it suitable for projects where customer input is readily available and valued. In contrast, waterfall methodology may be more appropriate for projects with limited customer involvement after the initial requirements gathering phase. Moving on to timeline and deadline sensitivity. The project's timeline and deadline constraints play a significant role in determining the appropriate methodology. Agile's iterative approach allows for flexibility in adjusting timelines and reprioritizing tasks, making it well-suited for projects with shifting deadlines or fast-paced delivery requirements. In contrast, waterfall methodology's sequential nature may be better suited for projects with fixed timelines and strict deadline adherence. Next factor is risk tolerance. Consideration of risk tolerance is essential when selecting a methodology. Agile methodology's incremental and iterative approach facilitates early identification and mitigation of risks, making it suitable for projects where risk management is a priority. On the other hand, waterfall methodology's comprehensive upfront planning may be preferred for projects where risk avoidance and mitigation are paramount. Now let's look at team experience and expertise. The expertise and experience of the project team in a particular methodology should be taken into account. If the team is experienced and proficient in agile practices such as Scrum or Kanban, Agile may be the preferred choice. Conversely, if the team is more familiar with traditional project management methodologies and practices, Waterfall may be a better fit. Next factor is regulatory and compliance requirements. Projects subject to regulatory or compliance standards must ensure that the chosen methodology can accommodate these requirements effectively. Waterfall methodology's emphasis on documentation and traceability may be better suited for projects in regulated industries where compliance is mandatory. Finally, let's look at stakeholder expectations. Consideration of stakeholder expectations and preferences is vital for project success. Engage stakeholders early in the decision-making process to ensure alignment between the chosen methodology and stakeholder expectations regarding project delivery, communication, and outcomes. And with that, we've reached the end of our presentation. We hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you have any further questions or would like to explore more, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Thank you for your time and attention. Please consider subscribing. Your support means the world to us at Consultant Bot. Every like, subscribe, and share helps this channel thrive, and it truly means a lot.